Long ago, everything seemed right with the world. Every summer in my youth, my family would vacation at our second home up in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is where I discovered many things. The art of swimming. The secrets my sister Lorna kept so darkly hidden. And a rare, surprising glimpse into my own heart. Buddhist philosophy suggests all of life is suffer, and we suffer due to our desires. In the following story, we meet a fractured family struggling with the discovery of the ultimate desire, sex, and the hardships it brings when youth confuses love for this desire. Come Summer, by Greg Heriges. It was 1961. The year Father had unexpectedly sold the boat, without so much as telling anybody. I was about 12, and I don't recall anybody ever checking up on me or intruding. It's probably a system of trust. Or the good luck of benign neglect. My sister Lorna, she had a young man, a frat boy named Wallace, and he would be visiting us, if you could believe the recent rumors. It was all very occult to me. Lorna and her young man, the rituals involving sororities and pins and being pinned. Eyes closed, one afternoon, she sunbathed at the top of our yard, and she even wore Wallace's pin on that. Her one-piece navy swimsuit. And her small breast rose and fell as she breathed, and I watched him for a little while, okay, in secret. I was 12. And all of a sudden, an outboard motor choked and sputtered. And in the boat slip next to ours, a girl around my age adjusted the throttle. She had these red shorts on and this slightly upturned nose, but she disregarded me. Like I was part of the lawn set. There was like a formless feeling of unease. I couldn't tell if it was because of Father's absence, Mother's voluntary seclusion, or Lorna's pining for her young man, or, a combination of all these things. I couldn't say what it was, but it was there. And it was real. One nightfall, I strode down the stone steps to our backyard, and right at that instant, a light winked on next door. And I saw the girl from the boat slip. Now, she had her back to me, but a mere position on the far wall allowed me to see her nose, or her face, and that nose. And then all at once, she whisked up her shirt and drew it over her head. And there I stood, between fear and something really different from fear. I had a new secret. The girl from the boat slip in her nakedness, and I held it close. A gift. The gray Volkswagen was parked on our driveway. It was like a bug caught in something sticky. I knew who it belonged to. Wallace Eli Stevens. This is my little brother. My aversion towards this guy was instinctive and instantaneous. And Mother made a rare appearance that night, tripping somewhat, grabbing the banister for balance as she reached her landing. She was plastered out of her skull, and it was clear to everybody. And there I was, to endure the longest dinner of my young life. And I learned Wallace played rugby. He was vice president of his fraternity, Sigma Alpha Fraud. Our housekeeper, Maggie, she was this gorgeous, tall, skinny black lady with these huge, soft eyes, and she stayed late to help make dinner. So by offering her to clean the table, I won sort of a reprieve from Wallace. And so we're in the kitchen, and she's like, I'm afraid your mother's not feeling very well tonight. She shit-faced Maggie, and then all of a sudden, the kitchen door shoved open brusquely, and there's Wallace. All of them. And him and his flat top strode over to Maggie, and he held up a set of keys. My bags are in the trunk of my car. as well as Strucker. Stay here, Maggie. I'll go get his bags. So later that night, I found myself with a bunch of tiny rocks, and I let them go with such a force. At first I was sure I shattered her window, and then she appeared. Are you crazy? You want to go see a movie? So we sat in that darkened theater. Her jeans rolled up a couple inches above her knee, bare leg, inches from mine. And for her whole world was illuminating in the bluish haze of the projector's light. For me, my world and everything that mattered was right there next to me. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. And when we got back to her window, she turned and asked, "Do you want to go on a ride in my boat sometime? It'll have to be early in the morning so my parents don't know. I'll knock on your window." So I made my way back up to the porch, and I heard sounds coming from it, like a gasp, a sigh, another gasp. So I drew the curtain to peek at the screen window, and at first I wasn't sure what I was seeing. You see, in the murky shadows, Lorna and Wallace had become one. And it honed my hatred for Wallace like needle-like sharpness. And then Mom caught me sneaking in, and she seemed more herself now. But part of me still wished she was just young and pretty, like she'd been the season before everything happened with her and Father. And all I could say was, "The porch, Mom. Go out on the back porch." That unexpected knock came at dawn, the very day that we were to leave to come home from the lake house. After weeks of patient waiting, here she was. The girl, my girl, handily untied the knots to the mooring rope, and she shoved hard against the dock pilling, sending us floating on the buoyant waves. Soon, the hull lifted, and then the water was pounding hard beneath us, and we skidded off to a destination that hadn't been charted so much by ourselves as much as it was by nature. She shut down the engine, and we just lay there, curled up against one another in the fresh new morning. The summer just straight effortlessly. Will you come next summer? Well, yeah. Then I'll wait for you. So we sat in the car, Lauren and I, waiting for Mom to finish locking up, and then she started sobbing. And, I hadn't had to think twice about it, triggering Wallace's midnight and permanent banishment, though I hadn't counted on my sister's heartbreak. And that I was genuinely sorry for. He never even called again, and for weeks my poor sister was inconsolable. "It's okay, Lorna. Everything will be fine. Just like it was come next summer. You'll see." "No, it won't. Don't you know anything? They're selling the house." And then just like that, it was gone. My dreams of summers to be the place of my childhood just evaporated. I think about the girl from the boat slip and our early morning abandonment. I never even knew her name.